Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to go over my currently inked pens from June and July. So as you can see, I had 8 inks, 8 pens, and we will go over each one. So let's get started. So the very first pen I'm going to go over is my Lamy 2000 in black. This has an extra fine nib and it was inked with Colorverse Valles Marineris. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I want to go ahead, since I already have, I'm going to kind of show samples of the writing. I do have my currently inked from June/July. And this is the swatch. And I feel like it's important to see the swatch as well as the print, because a lot of times the characteristics of ink you will see in the swatch that you will not see in the ink. I dig this pen. I really like it. This was the best pen and ink combination. It was absolute fire. This pen is so comfortable, number one, to hold. I am able to post it. This is made out of some form of plastic, so it's super lightweight. The grip section is also comfortable. I have no problems with it. My most favorite part of this pen is the nib. This is an extra fine nib, but I tell you guys, it writes like an architect. And I mean, I adore it. The ink, I was really impressed with this ink. Number one, I love the color. So again, there's the swatch, and I just wrote notes of what I thought about the ink, and here's the notes there. And as you can see, the ink there, it had great shading, especially for a nib this size. So I had no complaints and will absolutely re-ink this pen with this particular ink again. As a matter of fact, I'm having a hard time not refilling it with the same ink. I did use all of it and had to re-ink it. Didn't have to, but I wanted to because I was enjoying it that much. So yeah, the Lamy 2000, the extra fun with Colorverse Valles Marineris. Next is my Estherbrook Estie in Raven. This is an extra fine as well. And I have this inked with Pelikan Brilliant Brown. And if you want to see the swatch, this one, I love Brilliant Brown. It is just the perfect medium brown. And it writes so well. I feel like the swatch is a little bit lighter than when it's in writing, the actual print. However, I love this pen. This is actually now my favorite Estie. And I think it's just because I am all of a sudden into like a stealth black pen. I feel like I just need to have all of the stealth black pens. But I love this matte feel. The grip section is very comfortable. That's a must for me. It's not too big, it's not too small. And there is something about this nib that's different. I guess this coating that's different from all of my other Estherbrook nibs. And it has a little bit of feedback, but I love it. And not mixed, but this particular pen ink combo loved it as well. The only thing is, I feel like with the pen this dark, with this particular ink color, I love the color and I will revisit this combination. But I mean, don't you think that I don't want to say brighter color, but maybe like a deep red or reddish brown. The last ink I had in here, I think was like Steeped Umber, which has a little bit more red in it. And just that one was phenomenal. So no problems with this. I will absolutely pair this again. But I do think that a little bit lighter or an ink with a little bit more of a, maybe a brown with a reddish tone would be nicer, or even a nice green. Oh my goodness. That with the Colorverse would be beautiful. I think I may have to try that sometime in the near future. But these two, this combination, wonderful. Loved it. Now, this is not a pen and ink combination that I wanted to show, but an ink combination. This is my notebook where I am transcribing a book, and I used my Lamy with the Vallis Marineris to write. And again, that particular pen with this ink, my writing was just so nice. But I would do like splashes on the page with these two inks. And I mean, just look at the colorway. This color combination with the brilliant brown, it's just such a beautiful color combination. I just had to show you guys that. I absolutely love it. All right, next is my Pelikan M800 in Renaissance Brown. And I bought this in a fine. Yeah, I believe it was a fine. And knowing that Pelikan nibs are so juicy, they are just too juicy for me. That when I got this, I took it to the Carolina pen show, to the Triangle pen show, excuse me, and I got a specialty grind on here. And this is a fine cursive smooth italic. Gosh, I love this pen. I just love to look at it. I love to hold it. It is slightly translucent. You can really see it on the cap. Like, let's see if you can see, like, yeah, you can see where the cap's going in and out. There is still ink in here, and the piston's down because there's a piston feel, so it's kind of hard. If you hold it up to the light, you can tell, but this is a kind of a translucent body as well. And this is inked with Linen Toolbar Sesame Oil. Gorgeous, gorgeous combination. So first of all, the pen is comfortable. I will admit that I can feel the threads. My only wish for Pelikans is I wish this grip section was just a little bit longer. I can feel the threads a little bit, but they're not sharp, so I can deal with it. And I don't have to post it. I do not have to post this pen, so it was very comfortable to hold. The writing experience with the sesame oil, I love it. I will admit that this particular cursive smooth italic is just a little sharp on the edges, just a little bit. But it's such a gorgeous, and I feel like the name is so perfect. Sesame oil, that's what I think of when I see this color. When I hear this name, I think of this color. So I think this was such a perfect pairing. Oh, and I didn't show you here. This was the swatch there. So that's the pen and the swatch. And I got you pulled in kind of close. This is the pen and the writing right there. And I have my notes. I did almost write this dry. As I was writing the note here, it was starting to go a little bit. So I can tell this pen is almost empty. But I did enjoy this writing experience and will definitely revisit this pairing again. Next is my hand-turned pen from Mythic Pens. And this is in the Dartmoor resin. And this is inked with Colorverse Egg Cockle right here. So there's the swatch. Kind of it's a very deep purple, almost like a violet. And it was the perfect pairing with this pen because this, I hope you can tell, this is not, let's see if I can get it to focus. It's supposed to be like a chocolate brown, and in some light it is, but in person it almost has like, a purpley undertone, especially in the chips. So, yeah, love this pen. I was so glad I got it. My favorite thing about it is the grip section. You see how it curves right here? It's just the perfect spot for your fingers to sit. And this has a custom grind as well. This is a 60-degree Architect, and I must say that I believe that is my new favorite nib grind. Absolutely love it. The pairing is gorgeous because of this perfect pairing of the color, where it's such a deep purple, and this is like a purpley brown in resin. It wasn't sharp at all. The architect was not sharp, but the pairing was just lovely. And I did re-ink it. I wrote it dry, and I would definitely revisit this one. But I was just really pleased with this pen from Mythic Pens, with the work and the comfort level of it. And the ink was not dry. It wrote beautifully, and the grind was just to die for. So yeah, so that is Colorverse Ed Cockle with Mythic Pens in Dartmoor. Next is my Pilot Custom 823 in Amber. I have this in an extra fine nib, and it is inked with Teranishi Nostalgic Honey. And here's the swatch of the ink. And it's a beautiful golden brown, golden brown. However, I was not the biggest fan of this pen and ink pairing. I mean, I've yet to meet anyone that is not a fan of this pen. It's a workhorse. But I have found, for me personally, there are just certain inks that work the best, and this was not. And I don't know if it's because it's a lighter brown. Beautiful shading with this particular ink. It got a little low. It wasn't to the point of not writing. It got it down to about, I'd say about right here. And then I re-inked it because it just wasn't flowing well for me. And I had loosened it here to have good flow down, and I don't know, it just wasn't working the best for me. I don't think that the nib dried out at all. I don't feel like it's a super dry ink, at least in my experience. It wasn't in other pens. So yeah, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's the pen, if it's the ink, or if it's just this particular combination. Generally, if I have a super wet ink in here, I have no problem. So it's probably a combination of just the pen and ink, which is why we do this. And yeah, I probably will not pair this. I will not pair the Nostalgic Honey with the Amber Custom 823 again, although it's just gorgeous to look at. You would think it would just be the perfect pairing just aesthetically, but it did not work for me, unfortunately. Next is my Bonecrusher 7 Studio in Triassic. This also has a architect grind on the nib. One of my favorite brands now, simply because of the comfort. This grip section, there are threads here, but they are such a low profile. I mean, I don't feel these. I don't feel it at all. I don't. And it's large enough it has the swoop there. I love the swoop on a grip section because your fingers just sit right there perfectly on it. And again, never thought I would buy a pen like this, but let's appreciate, let's get in and love it. And I have this inked with Inky Bar Brown Pink. Now, this is an ink that I feel looks gorgeous. It is a pinky brown. You can see the pink undertone in the background. It is a pinky brown and it looks gorgeous in a swatch. However, once it dries, and the fact that my writing is small and it is a thinner nib, it looks super dark. Like right in here, I don't know if you guys can tell, it's definitely like a pinky brown in spots. But for the most part, it looked really dark. So I didn't feel like I could appreciate this ink color really well with such a thinner nib. So I feel like if you have a medium nib or just a wetter nib, then that color is really going to shine. I like the pen and ink combination. I just felt like with this particular nib, I couldn't appreciate the true color of the ink. Would I repair it? I would, because I mean, I know what color it is. And And that's kind of just a drawback of having a finer nib, because it's like a fine architect. So, but yeah, I would still repair it, re-ink this pen with that ink. So yeah, that is and I just had a sample of it, Inky Barra Brown Pink. Next is my Sailor Realo. I have this in a fine nib. And this is my first Realo. It was previously loved, and it actually wrote really well. And I have it inked with Scribo Scribo. And it is like a grayish, dusty grayish blue. Let's see. There's the swatch from my currently inked page. And here is the writing sample. I did like the ink. It was like really was a perfect combination. It wrote well. I want to say the ink felt like it was just a little bit on the dry side. And I think that mixed with all the feedback that comes with a Sailor. But, and I know this is going to sound crazy, I kind of have to be in the mood for a Sailor. I have to kind of be in the mood for that writing experience of all the feedback. Sometimes I want to hear the ASMR, sometimes I don't. But when I was in the mood, it's comfortable. I am able to post this pen, and it is not back heavy. It's not back weighted at all. So my only thing is I did feel like it was, I don't know if it was on the verge of being dry. And this is my first Scribo ink, so I don't know if that's just how their inks are or what. But I do like the fact that there's an ink window here. There's still ink in there. I haven't used it all, but I absolutely would. I would repair it. I think it was a great pairing, and that's the Sailor Realo with the Scribo Grigio ink. And lastly is the Scribo Spasir Rosa in an extra fine. Love her, love her, love her, love her. This is the most beautiful resin. Oh my goodness, I ink on myself. This is my first Scribo, and this is the Scribo Feel. I was a little concerned when I first got it about the step up here, but from where my fingers sit, it doesn't really bother me. But I will admit, oh, I didn't tell you what it's inked with. I inked this with Andoryllium Tulip Moth Warm. And here's that swatch. Beautiful. I would call that a medium brown. Yeah, that is definitely a medium brown. And it kind of, the reason I like it so much is because this is the perfect pairing, because this is, you see the pinky undertones in that, and then set with this particular pen, like the pink, brown, oh my goodness, like, I'm so here for it. So I don't know, this might be like a permanent pairing, but it was a gusher. I will admit that. Here is my notes, and it was pretty thick, and my handwriting was definitely getting off because I had already been journaling today, and then I went and wrote my notes here, and I'm like, okay, my hand's tired. But definitely, I love this pairing so much. I wish the nib was not quite as wet, but it is what it is. At this point, I'm gonna keep this inked probably until I use it up, and then I'll clean it. But I can pretty much guarantee you guys that I'll probably be inking it up with the same color. I just loved it that much. I'm gonna try. I will try a different color in it. I'm not sure which one, but I enjoyed it so much that sometimes it's just hard to let go. And some pairings are just permanent pairings. They just work well together. So yeah, definitely enjoyed this pairing and will definitely do it again. And that was my review of my pens that were inked that span June and July. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you later. Bye.